takes a lot of balls to make it in the cryptocurrency industry. That's why you've got to hold. You've got to have an edge that nobody else has. Most people don't hold for long, do they? The average crypto investor is only holding for 28 days. I mean, that number is so low, you'd think it's made up. It's not. It came from Coinbase, largest exchange in the world. They can't hold onto a paper bag. So remember, if you're holding, what's your benefit? Over time, it takes time. You have compound interest working for you. Remember, Albert Einstein, before he invented gravity, he told us compound interest, eighth wonder of the world. Those who understand it benefit from it. Those who don't, you end up paying it. So people who are holding, remember, what is your compound interest? What's actually happening? Is it a growth rate of people? Yes, number one. Number two, you got the money printer working for you in the background because they are debasing currency. And when they debase currency, it's a growth rate. It's an exponential. It's a percentage of the existing money supply. It's not fixed. Because it's a percentage, if you're holding something in year 5, in year 6, in year 7, you don't have to worry about trying to improve your edge. You just have to hold. When you're trading in markets, it's different. If you're trading and you're not long-term holding, your edge is decaying over time. You're fighting compound interest pretty much. People are constantly shifting, moving, trading, and that's why they'll never make it. You have to take a long-term view. Compounding wins. This is a cute Pikachu. Yay, surfing! You know, it's really important to understand these things, friends, because if you lose discipline once, you have to get back on the horse, get back on the bull. If you keep breaking it, though, you end up suffering a lot because no one's going to be there to pick you up. You're going to have to learn the lesson the hard way. That's why I do believe a lot of people are going to pretty much buckle this cycle. It's just the nature of markets, right? There will be people who are two cyclers. They're going to have to make the big mistake in this cycle, and they will have to go and make it in 2028, 2029. But for the rest of us, we've been holding this whole way. The odds of us screwing it up is very low because you understand the ramifications of indulging in soy. Leverage trading when you have no edge or stepping outside your circle of competence. You understand what happens if you venture there, right? But, you know, it's not going to be so pretty for everybody else. I mean, like, check this out, friends. When I posted this, dude, Max Keiser, the MicroStrategy clones have not been tested in a bear market. Michael Saylor never sold, and he just kept buying, even when his position of Bitcoin was underwater. It's foolish to think the new Bitcoin Treasury strategy clones will have the same discipline. So it's kind of like Max Keiser, friends, remember Bitcoin OG, even he could feel, something in the air is happening. Bitcoin Maxis know what's coming. They will never buy Ethereum or any other altcoin. It's kind of interesting, right? They can identify this big problem, but they're still not going to shift their position. Why is that? It's religious belief. That's why. It's because, see, when Bitcoin dominance keeps charging up for them over time, it builds this conviction in them for the wrong reasons. The market keeps rewarding you for doing something bad. That's why markets are very, very tough, right? You always heard this, friends. Like sometimes, like you could literally get 7-2 offsuit if you're playing poker. A 7 and a 2, that's pretty much the worst cards you can get. And then you can go all in and then the other people fold. Or you can just literally play out the whole round and maybe you get like, you know, 777s or whatever. So imagine you win. Imagine you think, oh, I'm God's gift to poker. No. You say you took a low probability success thing, but you kept doing it and it rewarded you that time. See, these people would rather stay leveraged dangerously in Bitcoin. They would rather do that rather than exit out. That's why I do believe altcoins will just continue going so far to make these people really regret. Okay, they all believe that the business cycle is never ever going to go up. I think they're going to regret it. That's how you know altcoins are extremely undervalued. They have a whole cohort of people, all these companies. They're like Bitcoin Treasury, Bitcoin bubble, would rather leverage FOMO by a product that keeps going up only. Okay, what happens if it starts stalling? What are you going to do then? The Bitcoin Treasury bubble will pop. Altcoins are the infrastructure of Bitcoin. Don't forget that. That's what we're all waiting for them to say. Okay, that altcoins are the infrastructure of Bitcoin. And I can't help but wonder, friends, do you remember when we had the Bitcoin conference? Andrei, Jikh was there, man. You remember this, friends? You have Tiffany Fongles, MySpace Tom, Andrei, Jikh, 2.6 million subscribers, one of the world's #1 finance gurus on YouTube's. Kind of interested how he got popular at the start. It's kind of funny. He was just hunting dividend stocks. You know, he just kept DCA buying into dividend stocks. He made some cool videos, good flashy stuff, but it's just interesting, right? Because we're all addicted to passive income. It's a retailer trap, but he made a video for the retailer trap because he was doing it himself. You know, he just, I keep buying stocks without paying dividends. You know, I want these to compound for myself. But the high growth stuff actually what wins, right? Because when a company's paying dividends, it's because they can't use the money to grow elsewhere. You know, and think about that. You don't ever want to be that. That means they've run out of options, right? Think about this as well, right? He regularly talks about the global M2 liquidity correlation, you know, being a Bitcoin lover. And like, I'm sure he's not a Bitcoin maxi. He actually has a high XRP target, but it's just looking for these signs out here in the universe to show you that the position of the market is stacked one way. Remember, the secret to markets is actually positioning, friends. There is a secret, you know. When you have a multi-million follower influence, okay, and you're like, you know, promoting something like Bitcoin, it just make you think, friends, because it's not just the numbers themselves, it's the confidence to go, yes, I will dare show myself here. You know, they were not coming here in 2022 in the bear market, 2023, they were nowhere to be seen. And that's why it's very important to crank it. Bitcoin dominance, baby. So a lot of these, you know, theories and things that you basically have to understand, friends, remember, these are worth more than you can possibly ever imagine, okay? Because everybody, friends, they want to put a little amount of money and they want to make a lot, yeah? But if you grab gem after gem after gem, edge after edge after edge, you start stacking your edge, information asymmetry over the average punter, if you can stack that, you have the confidence to increase your position size. You're using spot altcoins because, you know, or it's not just spot altcoins, any spot positions anyway, spot no leverage, okay? Now you're immune from liquidation and you're getting confidence. That's the winning combination. That's the secret ingredient. It's not really a secret, right? It takes a lot of time. You're going to have to build confidence to get there because what do people want? They want to get in, put a lot, they want to go up only. Very hard to get that, and they're more tempted to do leverage because they don't believe as much. And remember, I did tell you, friends, the secret to markets is positioning. Remember when I posted this picture, man? Willy Woo, friends, is calling for Bitcoin dominance above 90%. It's wild, man. Now, I mentioned I will take the other side of that, bro. You're walking around saying Bitcoin dominance 90%. And look at that, friends, this is a 12-month chart when I posted this screenshot. 4 years of up only. Now you're like, higher, higher, higher. Bro, you've had 4 years of up only? So, look, if you walk into a pub, you would think the whole world has a drinking problem. Think about that in the context of cryptocurrency. Similarly, right, most people on Twitter, they always say, oh, everybody's long altcoins. They're so desperate, you know, because they're in that little bubble. We're all in that little bubble. It's not true, though. Everybody's in Bitcoin and Bitcoin Treasury shares. You can see it. The dominance ratio is up. Yeah. What are you going to believe more? The chart? The ratio? Or your little eyesight view of Twitter? You know? What are you going to believe more? I think it's important to take the context more. Bitcoin dominance, friends. See, you can hear 1,000 noisy people on Twitter, but maybe their net worth totals up to be like 2 million. Right? Very true. But you could just have a few whales who are silent and they're like turbo long MicroStrategy, turbo long Bitcoin. They would never come to Twitter land. That's why Bitcoin dominance, friends, it tells the truth. The market extremely crowded in BTC. The unwind is going to be glorious as it continues. Remember, so yeah, remember, that's what we've been waiting for this whole time. We did not expect the business cycle to stay poopy for that long, but when we finally can confirm the upswing, it'll all make sense. And then you'll probably see a shift in everyone's language, but the ratios have to adjust for us to pretty much confirm it. That's why I've been saying a lot, when do you sell altcoins and stuff? Well, look, I want to see some key signals, man. I want to see people beg and plead. Please, sir, please. I'll never doubt an altcoin again. I want to see them on their knees. I really do. I want to see them apologize. I want to see Bitcoin maxis utter the words of your friend Tommy saying altcoins are the infrastructure of Bitcoin. I want to see them do that. I want to see the Bitcoin community have a real tiff, a real tug of war about putting altcoins on Bitcoin. I want to see them battle it. Not like having a moral stance. No. I want to see the price punish Bitcoin Maxi, Pet Rock stuff. I want to see the business cycle crush Pet Rock, that Bitcoin dominance going down. And I want to see them think, maybe we should put altcoins on Bitcoin. I want to see that battle. All right. Now, a lot of people believe it'll never happen. Be careful. Be careful with that thinking. You're basically, what you're telling me is that you're going to buy Bitcoin earlier than you should. That's what I can tell the friends. All of our conversations, I've been telling you a long time, friends. I've been telling you all our conversations in DMs for the past literal 12 months, they were literally the same. They said, why'd I ever leave out of Bitcoin? I should be all in BTC. That's what everyone's saying. And I know everybody just wants to buy Bitcoin and they want to have a nice, safe life. Guess what? Be careful, because everyone else is thinking the same way. Fade the crowd. Don't forget, he loves you. Press like, press subscribe. This is a Ditto hat. I love you. Catch you soon.